Good morning. Hello. I'm Ryan for Stitch Drop, coming at you again for episode number 2. I am Rebo95 on Ravelry, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can also find me as Knitting Knowhere on Twitter and on Blogger. I'm going to have the address for my blog here. I am not on Twitter all that often, so I don't even know why I'm saying that right now, but maybe I'll start tweeting a little more in the future. I'm coming to you from my front porch because it's quiet. It's about 7:30 in the morning on the 15th of May, and my neighborhood is just waking up. So I'm actually going to get the best light from here because I'm outside, so I thought I would try this and hope that the sound of the wind doesn't block me out. I'm sorry for the light inconsistencies last time, and let me also note I'm not going to get into the habit of apologizing for conditions on the podcast. Let me just give you a blanket apology right now, and I'm going to do the best that I can. I know the light was a little inconsistent because we were having really weird weather, and I had a lot of cloud cover coming through, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a little bit better. I'm shooting with a different camera today, so the sound or the visual quality might be a little bit different, but at least I'm working with my old PowerShot from college, and it has a little screen on the side of it so that'll flip out so I can actually see what this looks like. Not that I want to look at myself, but come on, who wouldn't? But I can at least see what I'm doing. I realized I was trying to get the camera to focus on things that were like way far away in the last episode, and I won't have those problems this time because I can see what the heck I'm doing. So, my beautiful neighborhood, and this is what it looks like. I live in this cute little quiet neighborhood in Western Massachusetts, if I didn't say that last time. It's mostly a neighborhood of families, and they're all sleeping right now, so I'm kind of torn between trying to be quiet and trying to project so that the camera can see me, so that I almost said phone. I was not dropping an F-bomb. Although, that should be another warning. That's my favorite word, so I'm going to try to keep that off the podcast and keep this from getting some type of mature rating, but no promises. Lots of people like to talk about what you're drinking, too. I'm drinking coffee. This early in the morning, tea's not going to do it. I apologize. I'm on my first cup, so I might come across as a little kicky. It's my favorite Wonder Woman mug. I am drinking Pete's coffee. I think it's called Big Bang. My husband bought it. It smells and tastes really yummy, so try it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, I had down week in review, which is actually, yeah, that's a good place to start. I've been super busy this week, and I was hoping I was going to be able to post a little bit earlier. I'm not usually one for consistency, but I am going to try to film on Fridays and then post on, do my editing and post on either Sunday or Monday. That's not always super easy for me because I don't have regular weekends. I have Friday off, I work Saturday, and then I have Sunday off, so that just kind of works out a little bit better for me. But last time it took all night for that video to upload to YouTube, so it could be posting on Sunday night, it could be posting on Monday, and if something comes up, I might be a little late, but I'll try to post on like Instagram or Ravelry or something if something is running late. But this week, I had a really busy week. Monday night was my bowling banquet. I do bowl on a league with a team and everything. We bowl at our local bowling alley, and we had our end of the year banquet on Monday. So everybody talked about what rank they were in, and we gave out awards to people who did particularly well through the bowling association, and drew raffles, had dinner, that kind of a thing. Our team name is Scratch and Sniff. Ha ha ha. I'm really one for puns, but for those of you who don't know, very much like golf, you get a handicap based on your skill. So you get a couple of extra pins based on how well or how not well you bowl. And scratch is what you call it when you that's your score without that handicap. So scratch and sniff. So we actually ended up doing really well, the best we've ever done. We finished in 14th, which out of 25, which doesn't sound like much, but in the first half we finished in 21st place, I think, in the second half, we placed in 4th, which is the highest we've ever placed before. I mean, by far. I don't, maybe everybody else was having a bad season. But we did really, really well, and I ended up receiving more prize money for that than I thought I was going to, and that all went into yarn, and I'll get to that in a second. Tuesday, I went to go see Civil War because our local movie theater has like $5 Tuesdays, so I did go see the new movie with a friend Corey, who had a birthday. Got you on the internet twice, buddy. And it was okay. It was okay. Marvel has really set the bar high for themselves, and it was all right. I don't know that I can say any more than that. It wasn't bad. Not at all. Not by any measure. But, I mean, if you're going in looking for another Winter Soldier, you're going to be disappointed. I'm really waiting for Black Widow to get her own movie, because I feel like in all of the other movies, and in this one especially, it's a lot of her picking up after the boys, and that just needs to stop. She does kick some really good butt. We need more of that. So, yeah, go out and see it if you haven't already, or don't if you're not into that kind of thing. But it was a highlight for me. Then I've also joined a book club, and we met on Thursday this week. We read Stephen King's Rose Madder, and I found that Stephen King is still not my cup of tea. Sorry, Mr. King. I know he's a big New England figurehead, but nope. I feel like anyone who spends 10 pages to describe one thing without really telling me anything about it is just not, I'm not interested in 1,000 pages of that. So it's really messed up. It was an interesting read. I honestly got halfway through it before book club started. We have about a month to read the book, and I don't know that I'll be able to finish it. I might try. We got to start on the next book, which is All the Light You Cannot See, which actually sounds really interesting to me. From what I understand, it's about a blind woman who's living in Nazi-occupied Europe during World War II. And if I'm misquoting this, I'm sorry, I haven't even read the back of the book yet. So, but that's coming up, and that's going to be really fun. And then this weekend, I actually took Saturday off, and I'm having a 3-day weekend, and I'm having something of an extravaganza. Yay! Friday I kind of slept all day because I didn't really feel very well, but yesterday was Webb's tent sale, which is huge. This is like my Christmas. It's amazing. It's, I can't even. I had so much fun. I was like a kid before Christmas, I swear. I couldn't go to bed on Friday night. And that may have been because I slept all day, but then I woke up in the morning and I was getting antsy. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning on my day off, and I hopped out of bed and I made myself some coffee, and I was putzing around the house, and I left early because I just couldn't do it anymore. They say that the tent opens at 10. I got there at 9:30 hoping that I was going to be there the second the tent opened, and it was already open. There were people shopping. It was not super crazy yet, so I got in at a good time. We got some really good deals. I feel like last year it was crazier. There were literally stampedes. Somebody would put down a box of Madeline Tosh, and everybody would be like, Tosh! And it would be like fangirls screaming, swarming, coming in. I got elbowed a couple times last year. That did not happen this year. There were a couple people who were a little shovey. I mean, that's to be expected with something like this. A lot of people in a very small tent. I mean, for what it is, it's a big tent. But nobody was rude. Nobody was, you know, there were a couple complaints of people taking things out of other people's boxes, but they offer bags. I think if you don't want that to happen, grab a bag with some handles. If you're probably going to catch this too late, but it goes on all weekend. It will be happening today. I will not be going. I blew through my budget. I took all of my... I'm sorry. Somebody walked by with a dog, and it sounds like they met up with another dog. I think it's just about over. There's a lot of dogs on the street. What was I saying? Oh, it goes on 2 days. I did go through my whole budget. I have some of it here that I can talk about today, and then I'm gonna spread it out, because otherwise I'd just be talking about stash today, and that's not a good idea. Last year I think I doubled my budget, which was unfortunate. So this year I just budgeted for as much as I spent last year, and it worked out perfect. I went like $3 over. I'm really, really proud of myself because I reined it in. I also get super organized about this kind of stuff. I downloaded a new Google app. It's called Keep. I don't know if it's new. It's new to me. But it lets you make little lists. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing on here that you shouldn't see, but it allows you to make little lists of what you... Okay, just a small technical malfunction. So I was talking about strategies for going to big yarn sales. I did see several people who were paired up with an additional person, and they were, the tent sale provided bags so that people could put whatever they were shopping in there. They also provided like big corrugated post office boxes, and a lot of people were using the boxes and then would put them down for a second, go to grab something, and come back to find someone rifling through their box thinking it was part of the sale. So I don't usually use the boxes. I usually use the bags. But some of these people are like hardcore about this and buying lots and lots of yarn at once. So they would come with the second person. They would put all of their junk in the bag and then get a giant shopping cart and put their bag in the shopping cart. And then the second person would go shop while the first person stayed by the cart and watched it, and they would switch off like that, which I think is a fabulous idea. Thankfully, me and my shopping buddy Sarah only filled one bag apiece, so it wasn't that big a deal. I really filled that bag, but so there's one idea. I also went into it knowing what I needed and what I wanted. I had a whole list of the supplies that I needed for this semester's knitting classes and next semester's, at least to the best of my knowledge. I have a couple of old class catalogs, so I know what classes I intend to take or what I have left really for the next semester. So I looked at the previous supplies list for those semesters, and some of them have even happened within the last couple of months, but I didn't have the prereqs done yet. So I pretty much know what I need. So I went in with this list, and what I was trying to show you is this list making app that I found through Google. There we go. And it makes, it gives you all just a whole bunch of checklists, and you can organize all sorts of stuff. So I have my grocery list on there. I have my agenda for today is on there. I have my list of knitting class supplies, and I just went through, and when I found something that met the requirements, I put all my yardage. I put, you know, if it needs to be a light or a dark colored yarn, and I would just check them off as I found them. So I was really targeted. I also had Ravelry up on here with all of my favorites, and when I post something to, I think it's my queue, not my favorites, but if I post something to my queue, it lets you make notes on it. So I'll put notes like the yardage requirements for the size that I intend to make, how many different colors, how many yards do I need for each of those colors, what kinds of fiber contents am I looking for. So that way I have it all at a glance, and I can just pull up my queue and click on whatever project it is, and there's my notes right there. Actually, I think it shows up in the queue. So I was very, very, very targeted with this sale. So I was talking about today's upcoming events. I'll get back to the tent sale in a second, because I did bring some of my new, what do you want to call them, acquirements? Some of my new stash buddies, so that I can show them to you. But this afternoon I'm going to the Brimfield Flea Market and or Antique Show, and if you've ever heard of it before, I think it's supposed to be the biggest antique show / flea market in the country. A lot of people seem to make that claim though, so I don't know how accurate that is. I will post a picture here of what this actually looks like. They have an aerial view of how big it looks. We're not going until later in the afternoon. Most of the fields don't open until approximately 10 o'clock, and we're not going to get there until probably closer to 1. It goes on for an entire week. Today is the last day, and so we're strategically going later in the day, hoping that a lot of people will have left already, or you know, it's just not going to be as crowded. It was really beautiful yesterday. It was like in the high 70s. It was gorgeous. So we're hoping a lot of people went yesterday. It's much cooler today, maybe in the 50s. So we'll be going to that later on. And when I'm editing, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to take some pictures and or video and post them in here for you. So I'll put that and my video of the tent show at the end. It's not a lot of video. I just kind of took a shot of the tent so you can see how big it really is, but I'll put that at the end of the video. I also want to point out, I am wearing one of my yarn disasters. I don't know if you can, I know you can't see much of this from where you are, but this is what I affectionately call my love sweater. I made this for my husband when I was first learning how to knit. I think it's my first sweater project, and considering that, it actually came out pretty good. I can fit my head through the neck hole. It's got this really intricate cable pattern with knits and purls in between. I really loved making it because it was challenging, but it doesn't fit at all. It's huge. It's very boxy and wide. There's probably 12 inches of positive ease in this thing, and my husband is 6'2", I think, really long guy, and he holds his arms up, and this is what happens. So this has been sitting in a drawer for like the last 5 years. I think out of love for me, he wore it to Thanksgiving one year, and then it's been sitting in this drawer ever since. I think he wore it the year I made it, and he's never worn it again. But he did wear it that one time. I put it on today because it's so chill. It's like in the 50s, and it is really warm. I do have fantasies about ripping this whole thing out and doing it over again because it is a really nice pattern. And I obviously have more than enough yarn. I still had a few balls left after this. I didn't really know how much yarn to buy, so I bought more than I thought I needed to, by far. So I want to make it again in a smaller size, but I will, when I type up my show notes, I'll dig out the pattern somewhere because I had printed it off the computer, and I'll put the name in there so you know what it is and what I used for it. It is not in my Ravelry account because I think I made this before I was even on Ravelry. So enough showing that off. Let's look at what I got from the tent sale because it is a lot. I was hoping the wind would die down a little bit. I'm hoping that's not throwing off the sound too much, but if it is, well, I did get a whole bunch of Longmeadow. I worked on my sweater making skills have not improved all that much. I worked on the Summer Aran from Vogue Knitting? Interweave Knits from, I don't know, like summer 2013. Again, I'll put it in the show notes because I did not come that prepared. I tried to be better this week, but not that prepared. I kept swatching for this thing. I picked out this beautiful blue color in Valley Yarns Goshen, which I really, really love, and I couldn't get gauge, and I couldn't figure out why, and I tried it again, and I couldn't get gauge. I finally went down like 4 needle sizes, and I still was having a really hard time getting gauge. So I knit a much smaller size than I normally would have, and this sweater still came out massive, like bigger than this one fits on me. Massive. I got all the way up to this really complicated neckline. I paused, put it away for, I don't know, a couple months because I was getting so frustrated, pulled it back out and realized that the entire time I was knitting with the wrong yarn. I'm stuffed up again, I apologize. Knitting with the wrong yarn the entire time, and I never noticed. What I had meant to buy was Valley Yarns Longmeadow, which is much, much finer. That's better. The color is a little more vibrant than what you're seeing right now. It's like a dusty lilac color. I just bought this yesterday at the sale. It's still on sale. It's actually one of their anniversary sales, so it's going to be on sale until the end of the month. It's like something crazy like half price. Each skein is like $2.50 at this point right now. So I thought, what a better time to buy all of that yarn again and start all over again. So I got enough for this sweater. I'm going to pull out the Goshen and I'm going to use it for something else. I don't know what yet. I'm trying to figure it out. There's a lot of pattern support through Valley Yarns. If they start a new one, and they've started a couple of new new yarns recently, and they've got a couple more coming. I think it's Stockbridge is on massive sale right now. It's like $31 a bag at the tent sale, because they're going to be taking that out of the line and adding in other things. So when the new yarns launch, there's usually only 1 or 2 patterns, but then they continue to add pattern support from them as time goes on. So they're really, really good at this. So I'm thinking about going through some of the old ones. They've got like 30 Goshen patterns, and I'm going to go through those and see if I can find something. And if worst comes to it, I'll just make like a baby blanket or something out of it. But it's really, really nice yarn, and I don't want to throw it away. I must have bought like 10 skeins of it. I got like 12 of these, and I'll probably be starting that Aran as soon as I'm done with the sweater I'm already working on. So there's one. Then I also got this old SMC Select silk wool, and I say old, I think it came out in like 2000 something, I don't know. It's not like it's old. It was on massive sale. It was in the $2.50 bin. They have $2.50 and $5 bins, and if you can get enough in one colorway, it actually ends up being pretty fantastic. So I found 14 balls of this SMC Select silk wool in like a charcoal color. That's not focusing. Whatever. I mean, you can still read it, and it's a really great color. Let me digress a little bit more. I have this idea in my head. I don't think I've said it before, but I am secretly, not even secretly, I am obsessed with the Hunger Games movies, and the books for that matter. Sarah, my shopping friend, who you will see in the video, had turned me onto the books right before the first movie came out, and I read them like 3 times in the couple of months between when I got the books and when the movies came out. And I watch the movies on a regular basis. This is usually what I'm doing when I'm knitting. If I'm caught up in all my TV shows and there's nothing good on Netflix, or I've already watched all of the stuff I'm interested in on Netflix at the time being, I will watch the Hunger Games over and over and over. And there's some fantastic knitwear. And I'm not just talking about that Katniss cowl that everybody went crazy for. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. I did make a knockoff of it. But there's so much beautiful knitwear in all of those movies, specifically the last 3. In Catching Fire, if you get a chance to go watch it, when she's having the nightmares on the train, she's wearing this like pajama top that's got like brioche shoulders. It's beautiful. I cannot find a full picture of it, so I've been kind of trying to piece it together in my mind what it might look like based on the different shots in the movie. There's a crocheted top that she wears when she visits one of the districts. That's really nice. This one in particular, I bought this for a recreation of the men's sweater that shows up in Mockingjay Part 1. It's not in Part 2. It's only in Part 1. But if you look really closely, almost every single man who shows up in that movie is wearing this sweater. I don't know if they're all sharing the same sweater or if they each got one, but I'm pretty sure it's just the same sweater over and over again. It's beautiful. It's, I can't even explain it. It's a little bit boxy, but it's got like a lapel that comes over to one side with a nice button up here, but it looks like there's probably something underneath, like a zipper or something, because it lies really flat. It also, the collar comes up, almost up to the ears in the back with some really beautiful ribbing. It flows into the shoulders, which look like it's got almost like a 3-needle bind off outside the shoulders, so they look like, I can't remember what they're called, and if I figure it out when I'm editing, I'll put it up here. But like the things that are on the shoulders of a military jacket, and it's got like little eyelets next to them. It looks really cool. It's very simple, but at the same time, it's got some really beautiful touches, and I think it would look fantastic on my husband or me. So I've been watching this movie and freeze framing on each of the parts, and I've made sketches of what I think this sweater should look like, and I'm going to try to recreate it with this yarn. And I only found 14 balls. This comes in at 131 yards per. 131? Yep, 131. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm going to be playing yarn chicken, but, and I usually hate doing that. I'd rather have the extra yarn, but it's worth it. It was all I could find in this colorway, and it's so close. I think I'm going to be able to make it. So there's that. It is really, really touchably soft. So I think it's going to be perfect for the neck part. It's going to be soft against the neck. It is a chainette. So if you can see, nope, you're not going to be able to see that. Sorry. But it is like a tubular chainette stitch. It's wool, silk, and polyamide, I guess how you pronounce it depends on what country you're in, because I've heard it a whole bunch of different ways. Polyamide. I'm sorry, I'm trying to grab the band without pulling it apart. 64% new wool, 27% silk, and 9% polyamide. So it's going to be lightweight for such a big jacket, which is helpful. That's nice. The silk does give it a little bit of a shine. It is a little shinier than I thought I wanted it to be, but that's okay. And the polyamide or plastic is going to make it a little more durable. So it's not going to pill quite so much. The chainette stitch is going to help with it not pilling so much. I think it's going to be really perfect for this project. Really, really perfect. So I'm super excited about that. Next, I also got, I know I need to make 2 sweaters for my next semester. I need to do a sweater construction class, which is all about figuring out the measurements and formulating your pattern from your personal measurements to make a sweater. So I know I'm going to have to do that, and there's a first sweater class where you either make a pullover or a cardigan. Because they've offered cardigan the last 2 semesters, I imagine this fall is going to be pullover. And I'm a little bummed about that. I wanted to do cardigan, but the classes have been scheduled the last 2 semesters at times where I just can't make it work. So I get what I get, and that's fine. So I'm going to need at least 2 sweater quantities worth of wool. Because this is... So I really want to make this jacket thing. I don't think I'm going to use this. I was trying to buy 2 sweater quantities worth of wool. I don't know if I'm going to end up using that or not. I might calculate it and realize I really don't have enough, so I might use that for a class. I also bought, I'm not going to be able to say this, SMC changed their name. I actually just read this because I was reading a review of the silky wool. SMC changed their name to the S guy's name, and I'm going to say it's Schockenmeyer. Goodness. It seems that my camera is only going to record in like 15-minute increments, so this might look a little dicey. That given, I think I'm still going to use this camera. So I was saying, I bought what I think is called Schockenmeyer Originals Wool 85. This is 100% wool. That color is actually pretty accurate. It's almost like an ice blue gray color. And I got about a sweater quantity's worth, which for my build, we'll say is approximately 2,000 yards. This comes in 93 yard skeins. This is color 00294, if anybody cares. And this was, I think $24 a bag with 10 skein bags, so I paid about $50 for it, which is not bad at all, especially for this brand. I don't very often buy this brand because, I don't know, I can usually find cheaper alternatives. But it's not to say that it's not enormously expensive, but like I said, I don't usually have a lot of money to spend on yarn, so hence the reason I save up and go crazy at this tent sale, because I can get so much nice yarn for super cheap. They did have giant bags of Knowhere DK. I don't remember the variety, so I can't tell you which one it was, but they were really, really beautiful, and they were going for like 110 a bag, I think. And if I had had that much money, I totally would have bought one. I never used Knowhere, especially because of the price tag, and it was just fantastically priced. So I don't usually buy this brand because I can usually find something cheaper that's similar and make do with that instead. I'm also kind of getting to the point where I'm getting sick of doing that, though. I'd almost rather spend a little more money and have a better quality garment overall than make cheap substitutions. I don't know that my budget can support that, so I don't know how I'm going to figure that out, but you spend so much time making these garments. You want them to last forever, and that's just not going to happen if you're not using the best supplies possible. So I need to keep that in mind. This, though, is probably going to be one of those sweater classes. I don't know which one. They tend to give you a pattern to work with, or at least have guidelines. I don't want to say pattern because you're plugging in your own stuff, and the sweater construction is really about being able to create your own pattern, or at least figure out how to make the sweater from step one. But they have pretty stringent guidelines on what you do with that. From what I've heard from other people who've taken the class, they don't want you to embellish the sweaters for at least for the sweater construction class. Like, you're not going to want to add cables, because you're going to want to focus on all the difficult stuff they're making you do with the sweater anyway. But some of the classes they'll say personalize it if you want to add cables or eyelets or whatever, but it sounds like maybe not in these classes. So the last thing from the tent sale that I want to show you today, they also have I forget what they call it, a fleece sale lined up around the parking lot outside the store. And there is a bag maker who is there just about every year, and I always blow all of my budget under the tent, and then go out to look at the fleece sale and realize I can't afford anything that's there anyway. So I went out this time, and I was about $25 under budget, and I bought a knitting bag. This is from Stitched by, I do think it says Jessalou, because the S's are a little funky. I think Jegaloo doesn't really make sense. Let's see if I can get you to focus on this. Jessalou, Stitched by Jessalou, Jessica Meyer. She is absolutely delightful, by the way, and this surgence of geeky knitters is fantastic. I was wearing a geeky t-shirt yesterday, a Supernatural themed t-shirt, and I got like 3 compliments on the shirt. I also, she had all of these super geeky bags, and I originally picked up Wonder Woman because I told you I'm a freak about Wonder Woman, and she had this fabric that has a whole bunch of different female superheroes on it. But I've seen the fabric before from other people. So I started looking around a little more, and I found this beauty. I'll give you a big shot of it so you can see what it is. But if you look a little bit closer, it is the Fifth Element themed fabric. So you've got Corbin Dallas here, and that's Ruby Rod. And Lilu only shows up once here in the corner, but look how cute she is. And we got like an airline stewardess from the plane, and Zorg is up here. I lost it. I totally lost it. I had to have it. It was amazing. It was, I think, the wedge bags in this size, which is about sock size, were 26, and the box shapes like this are 28. And then on the inside, I'll flip it inside out, it's got this really awesome, like, galactic pattern. It's awesome. I totally love it. I can't wait to use it. So if you get a chance, she gave me a cute little business card and a cute little pin that has her logo on it. It also has this really adorable bee zipper pull. Look at that. That's so cute. It feels a little delicate in my hands, so I'm a little worried about it breaking off, but I'm sure she wouldn't use it if it didn't work. But there we go. That's awesome. Now, I wanted to use it immediately because Eric is his name, of the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. He's out of Canada. He started a movie night sock knit along, where everybody's knitting the same pattern, but the challenge is to use a yarn that is inspired by one of your favorite movies, or a movie that you like, or inspired by a movie in some way. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like there's some kind of parade going on or something. I hear all this horn music in the background, and I don't know what's up with that. So he's starting this knit along, and I had picked this really beautiful Patton's Croy FX that I bought on a whim at Michael's a couple weeks ago. And one of my favorite movies is What Dreams May Come. I had originally wanted something inspired by The Fifth Element, but, and Junk Yarns from Kemper, she does make a Lilu colorway, but I had missed it. And I looked at this Friday's update and I didn't see any in there, so I needed to make another decision. So I got this yarn. I was going to put it in my Fifth Element bag because that's awesome. Car. Car. Okay. So I was going to put it all in my Fifth Element bag to tie it all together, but I lost the yarn. I don't know where it went. I don't know how. I've checked my entire stash. I've checked all of my usual knitting places, everything I can think of, and I can't find it. I think I lost it. So if I find it, I will join the knit along. If not, I think I'm going to have to come up with something else. And it's breaking my heart, but I'm kind of keeping the bag empty, hoping that it'll turn up very shortly. The last thing I have to show you is I was the lucky recipient of the 6,000 viewers giveaway for the Get Lit and Knit podcast. And they sent me some beautiful stuff. This is from Allie and Abby. They are the co-hosts. And they sent me this beautiful stitch keeper from Kitchen Counter Crafter. Look how bright that is. That's crazy. And it's a lot bigger than I thought it was too. I would be able to fit that's got to be like 7 or 8 inches, maybe 7. And I do have one of these. This is the first one I've seen where there's not 3 buttons across the middle. Usually there's 1 on this side and 2 here, and it's completely, like, the whole thing opens up. In this case, it's sewn up here and it only opens up down here. So you'd shove your needles into the little pocketed side and put your little snaps on there, and it keeps stuff from sliding off of your double pointed needles. I have seen some people use circulars. I don't know how it works with circulars, but I guess I'll find out. I'll try it out. And she also sent, or I'm sorry, I don't know who makes this. Kitchen Counter Crafter, I'm assuming is a she, and I'm sorry for the assumption, but has this cute little tag. It's like a little mason jar. Isn't that adorable? And there's a little pin on it and a little stitch marker with this little cup, like a coffee cup or something, or a teacup. It's super adorable with a Kitchen Counter Crafter business card, which kind of looks similar to KitchenAid. What a brilliant marketing strategy. That's kind of awesome. I'm a little jealous. I gotta come up with something cool like that when I start doing my stuff, so good job. Well done. So I will be using that very shortly, probably for these socks for this knit along. They had also sent me a beautiful skein of yarn, which is kind of crinkly. I'm not taking it out of the bag right now, but it is from With Pointed Sticks, Color to Write Home About. It looks like they've got a blog, and they're on Ravelry as With Pointed Sticks, no spaces. And on Instagram. I haven't followed them yet. The shop is on Etsy, but I think I'm going to be checking it out really soon. This is in the Tulip Fields color on ballpoint sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Seriously, like, trumpets and trombones are getting really loud. Maybe somebody's practicing outside. I don't know what's going on with this, but it's getting louder. It is machine washable. It is beautiful. It's like green and brown with tiny little flecks of like red and blue. There's streaks of yellow in there. It's kind of crazy. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. Probably socks. It's perfect for socks. I'm still in that sock a month club, so this might be what I use for my new sock pattern that I was hoping to plot out. So we'll see. But the two ladies also sent me this really cool note. I mean, they don't know me. They don't know who I am. And I've only been following their podcast for a little while, so I probably did help them hit that 6,000 subscribers. But it was really cute. It said thanks for watching, congrats on the prize. But it's a handwritten note. That's really adorable and something that I probably wouldn't have thought to do. So thanks, ladies. I really appreciate it. It's going to go to some good use, I promise. So let me just check my notes. I got WIPs. Oh, I haven't done that yet. My WIPs, my works in progress. I did not tell you last time. I've only been working on my sweater. I've been working on it the last couple days. Oh my god. Seriously, can you hear that? There's fire engines now. There's got to be a parade going on. No, maybe it's just a trombone. Oh my god. Okay, so here's my progress. I tried to put my progress keeper back where it was last time. That's about where it was. Look how much I got done. Oh my goodness. So this is the back of the sweater. And I'm not going to be able to show it all to you at one time because it's just so big. And my camera only goes back so far. There's the bottom. There we go. And you see this beautiful ribbing over here? I'm working on adding that to this side, and then the back will be done. And I'll see if I can get... that color is just so crazy. It blows out. That's probably better. It's actually Cascade 220 fingering in the plum colorway. So if you can find a picture of that online, that's the best way you're going to see the color. I've tried so hard to take pictures for Instagram, for Ravelry. I cannot photograph this. But it's coming out beautifully. I love Cascade 220 fingering. I used it for a Fair Isle class to make a mitten. I'm getting close to the 15 mark, so it's gonna blank out soon. God, that means I'm going on 45 minutes. Sorry. But anyway, it's got a really nice hand. It's really lightweight. It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying this. The construction, it's Nora. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and it's amazing the way her mind works, and so I'm in awe as I'm making this. But it's going to be so much fun to wear. Alright. Now there's car horns. I don't know if maybe they're all trombones. There's just crazy trombones. That's what it sounds like. Crazy trombones. The one other thing I did want to show off, I finally finished blocking my first cowl design. It's this beautiful color. I don't remember what I made it in. It's 100% alpaca, and it's another one of those tubular chainette things. I made it for my friend, and she's going to be modeling it to take pictures, but it's just so drapey, and it's so scrunchy, and the pattern itself came from a book. I'll put it in the show notes. I can't tell you right now, but I'm just proud of it anyway. I have to bring it in to get it graded, and then I will be showing it. I will be giving it away. I'm sorry, Nathan. Giving it away to my friend because it just it reminded me of her. If you can see the pattern, it's got like little textured diamonds and knits and pearls, and the color... that color is probably more true. It's like a tealy color, but it came out really fantastic. Horns everywhere horns. Other people's podcasts. I did want to point out Nathan of Sockmentition podcast has asked us to spread the word about his toe-up socks. So, toe-up socks. He's got a new pattern that he released. They are toe-up with a heel flap, I understand. And I will be getting my hands on that as soon as I can because I'm really interested in doing that. And I was too lazy to try to do the math myself. So, thanks, Nathan. So check it out. See what happens with that. And then inside number 23, KT from England. You just made a special place in my heart with your general waffle this week. She was talking about body image, and she usually keeps everything light, and it seemed to distress her a little bit to talk about something so serious. But she was talking about being comfortable with your body and what it looks like. Yeah. I figured out what all the honking was. There is a parade of trucks going around town honking their horns. I don't know what's going on. I did manage to film a little bit of it for you so you can see what it is, but it's like dump trucks and flatbeds and fire trucks and police cars, and there's a couple of crane trucks, ladder trucks. I just saw, I think, an asphalt machine. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're driving around town honking their horns. I mean, the little boys next door are psyched and just went running down the street to go watch, which is kind of cool. I read the town paper. How do I miss this stuff? There goes the electrical company. The DPW isn't there. That's Department of Public Works for people who don't know. They like do the roads and stuff. Okay, the parade has gone by. My neighbors are starting to hustle and bustle, so I got more cars moving around, so I'm going to try to finish this up quick. I was talking about Inside Number 23 with KT and how she was talking about body image in her general waffle. I almost said general quaffle. She probably would love that. But she was talking about how it puts too much pressure on yourself to buy clothes for the body you want to have versus the body you have now. Or make clothes for. I'm sorry, I caught the whole body that you want to have because that rings so true with me. And she was talking about how it just puts too much pressure on yourself to say like, oh, this would look really great on me when I lose 10 pounds because I'm going to go to the gym and do all of this stuff. And I've fallen into that before, and I think everybody has fallen into that before. And I don't know, I guess I wanted to say how much I appreciate her comments on that topic, particularly because I feel like I have that problem with knitting, and also a little bit of the opposite problem. Sometimes I forget that when I got a desk job like 5 years ago, I gained a lot of weight. I am significantly heavier than I used to be, and I sometimes pick shapes that look better on that body than the body that I have now. And there's nothing more uncomfortable than spending several months on a sweater and trying it on and finding out that it's just going to sit in your drawer because it doesn't look good on you, or having to give it away to somebody else for the same reason. Also, to the opposite point, I've also picked out patterns that will look good on this body type, and I even though I measure myself, I may be looking for like 10 inches of positive ease, and my head says, well, I'm fat now, so let's add a little more to that. And I end up making these massive sweaters. This was an accident. I promise. This was an accident. But you need to find the happy medium, and it's really difficult to do. And I think I struggled with it for a long time, especially I kept telling myself, well, I'm going to lose all of this weight, so I'm just going to accept hand-me-downs from anybody who's willing to give them, and I'll wear other people's clothes until I can lose all the weight. And then I was wearing things that didn't look good on me. They weren't in my color range. It was horrible. So then I kind of started to accept the body type that I have now, and knitting for that, it's gotten a little better. I've started to recognize the shapes that will look good on my new body. And if you've never done that before, I mean, KT was talking about being comfortable in what you've got, like make the clothes and buy the clothes that make you feel like a superhero, essentially, that make you feel powerful and make you feel good about yourself. So what I like to do is take my favorite clothes, the ones that I feel the best in, and just lay them out flat and look at the shape and, measure them across the chest, across the hip. Decide what it is that they look like, and pick things that are in that shape. Pick things that look like that garment, because then it's going to make you feel fantastic when it's done. I also tend to have a big belly, and I don't have a large bust area, so I know that patterns that have complicated patterns up in the top are going to draw the eye up to the top versus my belly, my big belly. So it's something to think about when you're knitting, and it's something that I think every woman struggles with. I don't know, guys, I'm sure there are a lot of guys who struggle with that too. I remember playing a video game, and I stopped playing because I said to my husband, they have such negative body views of females. Like, there were things in this game that accentuated and sexualized the female characters to such a point that it was disgusting me. And I'm not usually one easily offended by that, but it was bad. So I stopped playing, and I said something to him about it, and he's like, well, what about the guys? The guys too, it makes them all look like they're like ripped, you know, and that made him uncomfortable too. And it just never occurred to me that some of the guys feel the same way we do. So, and it's something to think about before you invest all of this time and all of this money. Make sure you're making something that you love. Don't waste any time on something that's going to make you feel bad about yourself, or that you're going to feel pressured to wear appropriately. Make things for you right now, in the here and now. Not you tomorrow, not you 10 days ago. Make something for you for today. My whole ultimate fiber domination is really about me trying to make myself happy. I realized that I was spending a lot of time waiting for other things and other people in my life to make me happy. And that's just stupid. And logically, I knew that. Logically, I knew that was not a good idea. But that's what was happening. So me throwing myself into the fiber community is me trying to make myself happy. This is what I want to do. I finally found something that I'm passionate enough about, that I want to go after, and that I want to chase, and I'm willing to work for. And I feel like what KT said really touched me, and it really got to the root of what I'm trying to do here, and what I'm trying to do for myself, finally, to make myself happy. So thank you very much. And I can't even tell you enough how I appreciate that. That's this week's Stitch Drop. Thank you so much for joining me. Come check out the Ravelry group. Come check me out. Follow me on Instagram. I will be taking pictures of all of my stuff and uploading my stash as soon as possible. And let's talk some fiber. Have a good week. Bye.